Hey friends, Rabbi Jenny Solomon here from Beth Meyer Synagogue in Raleigh, North Carolina. I wanted to offer this mincha moment today on Monday, Martin Luther King Day. There is a famous saying that the job of clergy is to afflict the comfortable and to comfort the afflicted. There's a lot of wisdom in that. It's cliche, but there's a reason it's cliche. It's really feels very true. So this morning I shared a short teaching from my professor, my beloved teacher at Brown when I was in college, and I've continued to read his many books, and he's written op-eds for various major newspapers, and of course been a commentator on the news. And one of the things I feel like he has done for me is to help me be uncomfortable enough to hopefully be to move myself, I can't speak for more than that, but to move myself in the direction of change and to understand the legacy of slavery and racism and white supremacy, which continues to be, sadly, an integral part of the society that we live in. But for this afternoon's mincha moment, I actually want to comfort the afflicted. So, one of the things that Martin Luther King was famous for saying, and I want to get the quotation right, is that peace is not the destination, peace is the way. Peace is not the destination, but peace is the way. And I think this, for me, connects so much to my own spiritual practice, in particular my meditation practice, that part of the work of meditation is learning how to bring ease to each moment. And it is from this place of ease that I feel most connected to my own truth, to my better angels, to my highest voice, and really to God's presence. And from that place, I pray I can act in ways of justice and mercy and righteousness. So I see this reflected in our tradition as well. We are moving through the Exodus narrative, and one of the things that gets picked up on in our journey through the wilderness is actually a moment in which the Israelites, having left Egypt, begin to complain to Moses, and the food's not good, there's not enough water, the water's bitter, and their kvetch fest turns into a bit of a rebellion. And for that reason, the waters of that place are referred to as Merivah, really the waters of fight or argument or quarrel. I think quarrel is how it's usually translated. And interestingly, the very first psalm that we chant as we move into Shabbat, which is this sanctuary of time in which we cultivate ease for 25 hours, the very first psalm that's part of Kabbalat Shabbat, in Psalm 95, reminds us, Al takshu levavachem k'merivah, don't harden your hearts as you did at Merivah. And I'm thinking about that today because so much of my own meditation practice, as I said, is softening, stopping the unconscious bracing for impact. Sometimes when I stop and notice and take a deep breath, I realize like my whole jaw is clenched or my shoulders are up to here, right? There's so many ways in which we unconsciously brace for impact as a generic stance in our lives. And sort of hold a stance of resistance, a readiness to fight. And part of a spiritual practice is practicing softening. Because when I release the tension, and that comes with sort of that anticipation of resistance or the actual resistance itself, it's a real drain on my energy. And that energy is needed for a higher purpose. So I pray that all of us who are using this day and, God willing, the days ahead for reflection, for personal reflection, to examine where we ourselves have been a part of the problem rather than a part of the solution, to reimagine what a world would look like without racism, without bigotry, without systemic oppression. As we examine how we can be a part of building that world, that we use our spiritual practice, whatever that is, whether it's meditation or other practices, to cultivate this softened heart stance, this capacity to bring peace to each moment. Again, not in the words of King as a final destination, but as something that we can bring with us with every breath, with every step. And that the resistance that is so easy to sort of show up with, that urge to fight, that we can soften that because the world needs us to step up with love. Shalom. Wishing you all peace.